Hi guys, Gareth here and welcome to this Vina Plunk production. So some people may recognise this shirt that I'm wearing in this video. Now about 1 or 2 years ago, I can't remember quite when at this point in time, which is funny because we're talking about time. Anyway, I started wearing this shirt a lot more often in my video, and I think it was actually two years ago because I wanted to start using my lavalier mic a lot more. Long story short, about 4 or 5 years ago now, I bought a SmartLav Plus, a Rode SmartLav Plus that comes in this nice little pouch, and I bought one of those to make my videos a bit more professional. Long story short, I started having some issues with editing. My computer wasn't up to it at the time, so I stopped using the lavalier mic for a while. The lavalier mic is £50, which isn't cheap for me, and it wasn't cheap at the time for me, to be honest. It's not a small amount of money for me personally. For the kind of mic it is, it's not a bad price, but for me at the time that I bought it, £50 was quite a bit of money. So I always felt bad for not using it. So I decided to come back strong, start using the mic. I also got softbox lights, so I could use those as well, make things a lot more professional, and then started wearing this shirt. So it's easier to put the lavalier mic on this shirt and of course record with it. I also used to wet my hair and then comb it back or brush it back, and I did all this because there was a person I was watching on YouTube at the time called Reporter of the Week, or Review Bra as he's often called. He reviews, I sound like Gollum then, he reviews fast food in America, or around where he lives, and his whole shebang is that he wears a whole suit, tie, Brill cream hair gelled back or Brill creamed back, and looks very smart doing so. Plus, I did have a smattering of people in the comments every so often mentioning my appearance or mentioning my appearance in a negative light. So I decided to change all that and then started recording videos in that kind of format, shall we say. However, it didn't feel right. It didn't feel me, and I'd often make jokes about my hair or about my appearance or negative appearance, because one thing I like to do, if someone starts mentioning something negative about yourself, mention it yourself. Make it part of your self-deprecating humour, or make it part of yourself and just joke and go along with it. It's actually part of one of the many aspects of charisma and being good at charisma and having charisma, is being able to joke about yourself in a negative light and being able to roll with the punches and all that kind of stuff. So I sort of rolled with the punches, and I know what I do, I'll make this part of myself, I'll embrace it, kind of thing. Anyway, so when I put the shirt on, wetted back my hair, all that kind of stuff, I could no longer make those jokes, and things just felt fake. They felt unnatural, shall we say. Plus, I then started getting people mentioning, well, certain people said, oh good, you're actually taking your appearance on camera seriously, which is a good thing. And I've said this before, say it again, I'm one of these people that when someone points out that I'm doing something on camera and they before were being negative about it and now they're being positive about it, makes me want to reverse it again. It's probably a really bad character trait, but hey ho, it's me. That's what happens. Also, what also led to me shedding the shirt is that one year it was extremely hot, and wearing this shirt while recording a video in a room with closed doors, closed windows, what have you, so there's no sound interference, and with a softbox light, it got quite hot at times. So I stopped wearing the shirt. The reason why, said all of that is I may start wearing the shirt again. And the reason for that is because it's actually very handy for clipping the lavalier mic on, because in my last video, I'm about to sneeze. Sorry about that. In my last video, I had really bad mic issues because I think the mic was too close to my mouth or my throat or what have you. So you heard a lot of sibilance, and that really does annoy me. And I tried my best to get rid of all that, but Couldn't do so with the editing I had, so that's that. So the reason why I said all that is it felt fake. It felt like I wasn't me. It felt like I was a character on screen, which is funny because there's a lot of people on YouTube that are characters on screen, but I'm not one of them. I'm myself on camera. I try to be myself on camera, and being somebody else is not me. That brings me on to something I want to be a bit more clear and clean about. So me and two other friends fairly recently have been talking about, actually 2 weeks ago, we're talking about movies. And one of those friends is a very big cinephile. He's a encyclopedia when it comes to films. And he started rattling off a bunch of films. And he said to me, guess what, Gareth, you haven't seen it, you haven't seen it, you haven't seen it. And then he turned that around from a, not a negative, from a, oh, you haven't seen this film, you haven't seen that film, you haven't seen this film, to going, you're supposed to be a DVD Blu-ray collector or someone that watches movies, a cinephile, to him recommending me all of those videos, all of those films, which I will read out that list at some point on camera. I use my phone as a way of recording the audio, and right now the jack in which I stick the mic into is so finicky that if I was to pick up my phone and start reading off the list, it would probably interfere with the audio, and I don't want that to happen. I'm getting a new phone tomorrow, which is again one of the reasons why I'm recording this video now, so to speak. So he turned it around and just started suggesting a bunch of films to me, which is a long list at this point. Yesterday, day before, whenever it was, I was on VC, voice chat, on Discord with a few friends, and one of those friends turned out and said, Gareth, Mr. Cinephile, I want to ask you a question, to which the other friend, because he was on that voice chat as well, laughed and said, don't get me started. And I sort of said, I said his name, and then said, you know, and he said, no, I'm kind of joking, but at the same token, you do need to start watching those videos. Why do I keep calling them videos? Films. And you know, he's got 10 years on me, he's 10 years older than me, so I've got 10 years to catch up with him, shall we say. But that then made me think, over the last couple of days, that all these Blu-rays, DVDs and what have you I collect, I used to be considered a, you know, someone to go to ask about recommendations for things, for films, for TV shows, for all that kind of stuff. And that's kind of dropped by the wayside quite a bit. I've said this before, I'll say it again. There are many times where I buy DVDs or Blu-rays and don't end up watching them. They sit on a shelf collecting dust. Well, I want that to change, and it's going to change very soon. If that is in relation to what I'm receiving tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be getting a new phone. I'm going for the Sony Xperia 1. And long story short, it has a 21:9 aspect ratio, which if you don't know is a cinema aspect ratio. Cinema scope, I think it's called technically, or cinema wide maybe. So I'm going to start watching a lot more movies, and it's 4K. I'm going to be watching a lot more movies on that obviously when it arrives. So it's, you know, one way I'm going to be watching a lot more movies, digesting a lot more content and what have you. I also recently rebought a film, Apocalypse Now, on Blu-ray, because I do intend of going through the 3 big Vietnamese films, which is of course Apocalypse Now, Platoon and Full Metal Jacket. I know there are a bunch of other Vietnamese films, but I've often considered those the trinity when it comes to Vietnamese films. I mean, Apocalypse Now is probably one of the most famous and most decorated and recognised Vietnamese film. So we'll be watching that at some point and giving my opinions on all of that. Also, my style of my videos may be taking a bit of a back seat. Bit of a change. I may be doing some POV type videos from now on, where you'll see my hands in shot and I'll be showing off some stuff and what have you. These face-on shots may disappear for a bit. I'm trying some different things and trying to shake things up, and we'll see where all of this goes. But I wanted to be a bit more honest with my audience and sort of say that, you know, I do need to get back onto the whole movie watching training. all that kind of stuff. And there are some things lining up that I've lined up myself in order to facilitate that happening. If you could for me, guys, leave a like or a dislike on this video depending on your feelings. If they're more complicated, then please pop a comment down to the comment section down below. As I do like to say, YouTube is a social media platform. Let's make it social. Let's take it back from the trolls. And if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. It's big, it's red, it's free. Do it. Hit the bell icon, ring the bell icon, make sure the quotations around it, and you receive a notification to your device of choice every time I upload a video. And as always, guys, you've been a very patient and supportive audience. And until next time, please take care. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day. Ta-ra.